Come on.
I'm about to go here and tell what a nigga like me might say. We about to break down, roll up. We about to get high today. Go ahead and spark that up, passing like a damn relay. You forgot your place, now we in your face. It's time to pay.
It's TGI Now time. Back again in the K420 studio, discussing real, authentic truth talk, freedom of speech, and living in the now. Freeing your mind.
One episode at a time. Shit, we trying.
Boom.
All right, we trying.
Trying to be on time.
Yeah, we on
Yeah.
time. We were trying to be on.
We were trying to be on time.
We were trying to be on
I
time.
really be trying.
That fucking Matrix where you had to unplug.
Yeah, that Matrix, man.
had you plugged in for a
It's all
minute.
right. It's all right. It happens. It happens.
Yeah.
But we worked through it. Everybody's being patient in the green room. We got a good group of people already getting online. The followers are booming up. Look at that, doing like it's like a little,
Nice.
it's like a pinball machine. Look at the numbers going up. Look at that.
Good, but
It must be because we got somebody in the green room.
let's get his ass out of there. He's been in there long enough.
I'm out of
My
there.
God! So I just wanted to give everybody, it's all that we have Enrique Tarrio in the green room tonight.
Hell yeah.
We talked a little bit about him last week with Sandra from the Indian River Hispanic Conservative Group, and so we had a lot of new followers from that show. And I guess apparently everybody's ready to see this show. And we got
Let's plug it
Enrique in there, and we have Sandra in the green room as well. So we'll bring them on. Boom and boom.
Hey guys.
There they are.
Okay, what's up? Sorry for the delay, man.
Very
No,
sorry.
it's cool. It's cool. I thought it was funny that you said you guys are on time all the time. But I'm Cuban, so I understand how late it is. I know what the palmetto is.
Right.
None of us plugged into the Matrix. So tell us, Enrique, man, how's it been since you've been out, bro?
I'm gonna tell you, it's been, I'm gonna say a quarter year because it sounds much cooler. It's been a quarter year since I've been out, and it's still not real to me. It's a blessing every day. Nothing bothers me, by the way. Like the little things that usually bother other people just stop, and used to bother me, stop bothering me altogether. Like I get rained on, cool.
Fuck it.
I lose something, I break my phone, cool. I don't care.
Right.
But it's still unreal to me that, for so long, for 3 years of my life, I thought I was going to spend the rest of my life in prison. And one day, by a pen and dry ink on a piece of paper, I was released, and now I'm here with you guys, this amazing bunch, and I'm happy to be here with you guys, and I appreciate you guys for having me on. Sandra, I also appreciate you. I know we got a big event coming up, so really thank you guys for having me.
Yeah, we can do that.
Well, we'll be talking about the event. So I want to ask you also, I know that you weren't even at the fucking Capitol, and what did they charge you with?
So out of 1,600 defendants, I was the only one that was not at the Capitol. I was barred from being in the District of Columbia on January 6th because I burned a Black Lives Matter banner on December 12th, which somehow is illegal in DC. I don't understand how. As we're speaking right now, there's probably somebody burning an American flag in DC, and that's completely legal. The Supreme Court has ruled that is legal. But I did get arrested for burning a Black Lives Matter banner coming into DC on January 4th. And on January 5th, when I got bonds, the judge put a stipulation in there and said that I cannot be in DC. So, and I could see in the 3 comments on the right, we have a big fan of the Proud Boys on the right. And actually, I really, and I want to take this time, I did say I appreciate you guys, but I appreciate people like Helen Gross, because people like that, when they show their colors, actually help our cause. People like AOC, people like Hakeem Jeffries. I also have to thank them because they made January 6th so ridiculous. And locking people away for having opinions for decades of their life. They made it so ridiculous and so unbelievable that the president not only had no other choice but to swing justice through an executive order. So, Helen, if you're I know you're watching this, thank you so much. I appreciate you.
Of course. Awesome. Thank you so much for that. That's great, bro. You know, sometimes when you're locked up, is the people that support you that keep you going. You know.
Yeah, no, and that's another thing. People like to call January 6ers heroes. I think that we were all regular Americans with our right to protest. I can't tell you that like I'm not cool with putting hands on cops. I'm not cool with like breaking shit. But that's not what happened that day, right? Like those things happened, but that's not how the prosecutors prosecuted these cases. Giving people decades in jail for simply brushing up on a cop. And I've seen it happen. It's not like I'm making this up. This actually happened to 1,600 individuals. And there could have been more, right? Because if they would have stolen the election again, there would be they double or triple that number going into 2025 if Biden Biden got his election stolen from him when Kamala Harris came in and sacked him. So I mean, I truly think that the disastrous 4 years of Biden really showed Americans what Democrats the true Democratic face without the mask. And they knew that they couldn't do another 4 years. America would not have survived another 4 years under the administration of Kamala Harris.
No, not at all. Not even close.
No way. I mean, shit, we would have been doomed.
I'm surprised we made it this far when we were doing this podcast while you were ended up in, when you were in there, and then we started this podcast. I mean, we never thought we'd be having a conversation with you about something like this, a situation that occurred, and everything we went through, and in our personal lives, and then what you went through, and then to see what happened. And now it's like it's crazy, you know.
Yeah, and it's this crazy world. Another thing that's amazing to me is kind of like I went into like this portal and I left. You seen the movie Endgame, the Avengers Endgame, where he flicks his fingers and the blip makes him disappear for 5 years. I kind of feel the same way. Like I've walked into like this crazy multiverse where the culture has changed so much and things have changed so much. I mean, it's amazing that I still have I have my Twitter account back. I mean, that's on its own is crazy, but the culture has changed so much that I kind of walked into this beautiful world. And I really, really do. Another thing I appreciate you guys for doing is pushing for the president, because you guys, and I think I could speak for the 1,600 J6ers. You guys are our heroes. You know, because of you, we got Trump reelected for a third time, which granted us our freedom. And you know, I'm happy that the culture has changed so much, and the Republican Party has changed dramatically.
What did you when Trump, when that assassination happened and all that? What went through your mind at that moment? That's you know, man, I gotta imagine. You know, what happened there? What were you thinking? Like, oh man.
So it's funny because we had this little wind-up radio that we modified with a speaker, and I remember I was sitting in my cell with the door half open, and I was listening to Trump's speech while I was reading. You know, so I was kind of like in my own world, you know, so I was half listening to what the president was saying and half reading my book. And suddenly I hear the pop, 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 and I hear people screaming. And, you know, can I cuss on here?
Yeah, you can.
Okay. Okay. So I literally shit myself when I heard that. I'm like, oh shit. So I grabbed the banger, right? For those that don't know what a banger is a fucking knife about this big. And I ran outside, and the TV systems, how they work, it's by race, right? There's the white TV, the Latino TV, and the black TV. And I know that the white guys always have the remote control in their hand. So I ran up to the these white dudes, and I'm like, you better change the channel right now. So they square up with me and they see me grab the banger, right? And they're like, what happened? And I'm like, they just shot the president. I'm pretty sure that that's exactly what happened right now. So he takes his hand off. He's like, no way. And he changes the channel, and we see what's happening. And after a couple minutes, I figure out that the president was not assassinated, right? And then I obviously later on I hear that the president's ear was nicked, right? That he's going to be A-OK. And that was the moment that I was like, there is no way in hell that this guy is losing this election after what happened there. And there was no way the Democrats were going to recover from this. And, you know, I don't put the president on like this pedestal. I hear it all the time from some people that like he's like some type of like deity of some sort. And the reality is I hate when people do that, because reality is so much more beautiful. He's a regular dude, right? He's a regular ass dude. And he like just count the shit that he's been through, right? Like the 3 impeachments, the 2 impeachments in 2019, the what was it, 4 indictments, right? The 4 indictments and the 2 assassination attempts. And this guy is literally the Teflon Don, and like swatted away every single one, every single thing. It just doesn't stick, right? And I know that God's watching over him, like God's watching over America.
Amen.
But he is a regular human being, and that's one of the reasons why we support him, right? But it's such a, like, you couldn't make this up. You take me back, you take us all back to 2016 and tell me that this is going to happen, and I will tell you bullshit. No way at all that this is going to happen, and it just did. It's crazy, and I'm happy to have such an amazing president as we do now.
I have a question. I know that feeling of Trump that might have gotten assassinated, and the opportunity of your freedom, because you kind of had to know that once he became president, if by winning the election, that you guys were going to be free, because that's something that all of us out here, because while you guys were in there, we spoke about you guys periodically in our show. I mean, my wife Sandra, who's below, was always about J6, because she herself was there. You know what I mean? So the only reason why she didn't enter the Capitol was because her feet were hurting, literally because of her shoes.
Yeah.
It was cold. So think about that, you know. So the events that happened to you guys, I mean, were horrifying, because I can't imagine. I mean, I did 8 years in prison. I did a bunch of time. So I did what I did, though. I went in there for something I did. I can't imagine looking at 22 years for not even trespassing, because they say that you orchestrated the fucking thing. Are you fucking kidding me? You say you have this peace. I would be so angry. You know, I can't. I'm just saying how I would feel.
Yeah, well, I will tell you that even though I'm at peace, there is an anger, there is a rage inside of me, a rage that wants retribution, a rage that wants retaliation. And what is rage? What is retaliation and retribution? I want accountability. That's retribution and retaliation. I want the people that used us as political pawns and used us for fundraising campaigns. I want them in prison. I want them, as much as we suffered as J6ers, our families suffered so much worse. Because like one gets used to it. And I always say this, the nefarious part about this whole situation is how easily one gets adapted to the situation that you're put in. Because when you're in prison, you're in prison. That's it. You know, like that's life. You know, but the people out here, they suffer because, you know, there's some hope of bringing you back, whether it's on appeal, whether it's on a pardon. So the people that made our families suffer, those people have to be made to pay. those people need to people need to be put in handcuffs, and they need to be put in a concrete box like they did to us, and they need to be tortured like we were, right? I was transferred to 40 different prisons in 3 years. That has to be a record. That has to be a record. There's no way. I've talked to, I was in a medium
No,
facility.
really,
I wasn't in like a
that's
low.
I think I was only in 4 prisons.
Yeah,
It's a true story.
I was. Mhm.
They probably did that because they didn't want you to organize. That's how they think.
That's what it is.
Yeah.
Yeah, they didn't want
No,
you
that
to
was
have
exactly
enough
what it was.
to organize.
They didn't want people to find you, know where you were, so they could throw
if you
money
were
at
a
you,
leader,
things like that. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean,
So
obviously, right?
they had me. The marshals had this special condition over me that puts me on the same level for transport as El Chapo Guzman. So everywhere I went, I'd have to go with 2 armed marshals, police escort, and in what's if your viewers after the show just take a look at what box cuffs are, it looks like a medieval torture device, and by the Geneva Convention, you're only supposed to put inmates in those devices for 4 hours maximum. I was in those box cuffs for 26 hours straight. They in both separate trips of 13 hours each, I was given less than a bottle of water to drink in each one. I had to urinate in another bottle, in a Gatorade bottle, on those trips, because once they lock those doors to that bus, they cannot open them till they get to the next facility, which was 13 hours away. So I want straight retribution. I want them. I want them to go through what my family went through and what I went through, and I'm not saying by no means I want to clear the air. I'm not saying like violent retribution. I don't want them to get their ass beat and none of that. I want accountability, because that is a lot more powerful than beating somebody's ass.
We're
and
hoping for a tribunal.
and
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Line them up, man. You know what I mean? Line them all up from Fauci all the way down.
Yeah.
Fucking-
I mean, yes,
over,
that-
it's done. You know? Why waste taxpayer dollars? They taking enough of our money.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yep.
A bullet is shit, you know?
It's true.
Honestly, or a wood chip or something. We could probably, feed the pigs or something.
Recycle a bullet.
Yeah.
No, so just real quick, Sandra, let's talk about the event for a minute. That if anybody locally wants to meet Enrique, he's going to be at the event, and pretty much saying the same thing he's saying now. So if you want to bring that up real quick, Sandra.
Just we're hosting Cinco de Mayo Fiesta next week, May 2nd, at the Polish American Club in Wabasso, and Enrique Tarrio is going to be the guest of honor. We're just going to, have a nice get together, have the community come to know him, the person that he is. He's going to, take pictures with them, and he's just going to be our guest of honor. And Joe Huff is going to be there from the Gateway Pundit. He's amazing. He's helped these guys. He's been always reporting everything, and we got to give the Gateway Pundit a shout out, because it's an amazing news resource, and they're always saying the truth. And I that's where I get my source of information, and I just want everyone to come. Friday, I'm going to tell you right now, Friday will be the last day. If you guys want to come in, give me a call. My number is 772-713-8528. There is going to be Indian River County Sheriff is going to be there, just to have us, protected, because there's a lot of crazy people out there, and plus the patriots. So everyone's welcome to come. Just give me a shout out, okay? Thank you.
All right, so that's going to be on May 2nd, and Enrique Tarrio will be there. And it's an event. There'll be some food. There'll be some mariachi.
DJ.
There's going to be a DJ. So it's not just going to be speaking. We're going to have some fun too. Okay, so let's make sure you guys show up for the event. Support, an amazing patriot, Enrique Tarrio, so let's make sure that we show him our support here in Indian River County. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you guys, and I appreciate you. And
we're not done yet. I just wanted to put that out. Also,
Yeah.
quick shout out to Cat Pizza, man, because they always support us. They've been supporting us since day one. We've been doing the show now for 4 years, and just want to say thanks to John, who always makes sure that that we got food for the show for our guests when they are here. And I just want to say thanks to Cat's Pizza. If you guys are local, want to check out Cat's, they're by Oslo and 27th. I mean, Cat's Pizza has been around for how long, John?
Well, they've been around since 1987.
Yeah, man, long time. Long time.
Knocking out pizza since 1987.
So if they want to call in an order?
Give them a call, 772-770-2277 or CAPS, capspizzamenu.com. It's a family tradition since 1987.
Amen. There it is, John. We love you, bro. Thank you.
Appreciate you guys. They got like good food.
Yeah, good food, man. I got sausage and peppers today. I'll bring some home, but
Okay.
That looks good. That looks really good.
But anyway,
that looks amazing right now, dude. I'm starving. Like literally, I was in the studio and I came home. I'm like, I'm gonna do this pod. I'm gonna eat, and you just like,
right?
you just opened up my appetite right now. Oh, stop! You guys are gonna make fun of me, man. There's
Hawaiian pizza.
I'm getting Papa John's, man.
It's okay. Papa John works. What do you get? Just cheese or sausage, pepperoni?
I got some pepperoni, some garlic, Parmesan sticks, and a couple of other things. I wish.
Oh, cool.
So there is a lot of great places here in Miami to eat Italian food, but unfortunately, around my house there is absolutely zero.
Well, Papa John works, bro.
Right.
Yeah. So I got what works, bro. It's not a mom and pop shop, and it doesn't look as good as those pictures you showed right now. I'll tell you that.
But there'll be some great food at the event, though. You're gonna eat good, man.
I'm gonna stop.
My wife is a good burner. She could cook, So and plus it's gonna be catered too. Who's catering, Sandra? I ain't hear you. Who's catering?
A local Mexican restaurant in town.
Okay, cool. Jalisco's, they've been around a long time too. They've been around forever.
Yeah.
They're authentic Mexican. They were been here for a long time. The first Mexican restaurant in Vero.
Yeah, the ones that we went to the first time.
Yeah,
20 years ago. Yeah.
Enrique,
everybody's gonna eat stuff their face. Yeah, and then I'm gonna get tres leche cake. So it's gonna be really nice. A lot of food.
Ooh, that's good.
Nice.
Okay.
Enrique, tell us a little bit about your podcast that you started too.
Yeah.
I mean, I caught a couple episodes of that, so I figured we might as well get into that while we got a bunch of people watching.
Okay. So we started more than just a podcast. We started a podcast network.
Yeah.
So right now we have about like 16 different shows that air 7 days a week. Some are like 2 or 3 shows, some 2-3 shows a day, some is 1 show a day. The main podcast is the one that you're looking at right here on the right on the screen. Is the Lords of War podcast. It airs Wednesdays at 7, and basically it's a sit down with some pretty cool guests. We actually have a really good show we recorded today, and it's going to go live tomorrow at 7 with Alex Rosen, which is a pedophile hunter, and the guy's amazing. He's bagged 92 pedophiles this year. We were doing some research, and some police stations, their max for their whole year is about 20, 30 something for small police stations. This guy is a force to be reckoned with, and he's a very good dude. We also have shows from, like, not all of our shows on the network are political. Some of them are cooking shows, some of them are sports shows. We're also doing a morning on Tuesdays and Thursdays. We're doing a morning like news brief with a little bit of comedy in it.
Nice.
But basically what we did is we could have done this ourselves. We could have just, me and Ethan could have done our podcasts and done our individual shows on the network. But what we wanted to do is we wanted to build something that other people can use, other voices, because there's so many voices out there that are very, very good, but they don't have a large following. So we wanted to give them that platform so they can, so you guys, the audience, and your audience here can listen in. So I recommend that you guys tune in. The shows are mainly fun. Like we had a really good show yesterday. which turned into we have debates. We host debates on the channel, and we hosted our first debate yesterday. There was a controversial event that happened on Saturday, and I had the gentleman that hosted the event and his detractors on the event, and we had a good conversation, and we moderated the debate. So you could find us on X at TLOWPod, which is TLOW pod.
Okay,
That's right here
on Twitter, and at the War Boys on Rumble.
Okay,
there
cool.
it is right there.
That
And
works.
Yeah, I like the format you did with the debate. That was a good idea. It seemed to be pretty good, except it was getting a little bouncy back and forth. But but you did a good job. You got a good monotone to moderate those debates. So that was good.
Yeah, I think and those debates. That's why we want to host those debates. We want to be an arbiter and not pick one side or the other. Ask tough questions, obviously. We don't want to pitch softballs at anybody, so we asked some very tough questions yesterday, and we're going to do that in the future. So if another thing, it's kind of like a Royal Rumble. If a couple people have their beefs on Twitter, bring it to the War Boys Studios. We're here for it. We're here to host it. We're here to moderate, and we're here to be fair.
Yeah, it's good to hear both sides because the old saying goes: "There's two sides to every story, and in the middle is the truth." So it's always good to open up to both sides. This way, for people who do have questions, they get their answers. Because a lot of people don't ask questions; they just listen. Like they listen to television, they listen to everything that's going on, and what's happening is just they're getting misled. You know what I mean? So
yes,
I don't know.
We even have a resident liberal that's in there, Patty, which was part of the debate yesterday. He is not a Trump supporter. He voted for Kamala Harris, but I will tell you that he has the balls of steel because he was in D.C. on January 6th. He was there as a videographer, and he did come testify in our case, knowing full well that the prosecution for helping us would probably put him in chains, and he didn't care. He went up there and he said the truth. And the truth was that we did not plan the events of what happened in the Capitol.
Well, and it's funny, no one ever heard about that, bro.
Right?
We hear about that. Well, I wonder why.
Right.
Granted, I'm a guy that's very competitive, and I like to be first in a lot of things. Obviously, the 22-year thing is not something that I like being first in, but. We had the longest case in DC history, which was 6 months. 6 months of pure hell. So our case, there's reasons why a lot of people didn't hear certain parts of the case because it just went on for so long, and also a lot of the guys got a lot of time, and we exposed a lot, and we weren't cowards. We took the government on by full force of the government. A lot of people don't understand that when that indictment comes in and says the United States of America versus Enrique Tarrio versus Ethan Nordine versus Dominic Pizzola versus Zachary Real and versus Joe Biggs, the entire weight of the U.S. government was on us, and we held together very strong. And it's a testament. It's a testament to how strong the men we make in the Proud Boys are.
Yeah, man. It's a good group, bro. Oh, yeah. Respect. You know what I mean? Love and respect, bro. Straight up.
Yep.
Yeah. Because, when you're standing up for something what you believe in, and we're firm believers here in this show, the same thing. Like, we've been standing up and speaking truth since day one.
Yeah.
Regardless, we've been kicked off of YouTube, and some of our shows have been banned. We don't give a shit.
You know what I mean? From jobs,
he got fired from a job. He went to jail.
I went to jail.
You know what I mean? Because of speaking truth.
Yeah.
And we don't care, bro, because it's because unless there's people like us, like you right now with your network, allowing truth to be spoken, we're just gonna listen to fucking fake news.
Yeah.
Really, even Fox, Newsmax, all that is all phony. It's all scripted. Yeah. This isn't. We don't have a script. We're just chatting.
Exactly.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And now truth is coming out.
Yep.
See?
Well,
yeah, and that's why we created the network, right? Because it's the new front for media, right? This is how people consume the news now. Those networks are dying.
Exactly.
Cable news is dying. Mainstream outlets do not. I mean, Alex Jones gets more views on his day show than 2 of the major networks combined.
Alex Jones
Okay.
the best.
And he's
Crazy.
been around for a long time. He's been part of the game for a long time. He knows what he's talking about. He's actually one of the smartest people
Love
I
him.
have ever met.
Yeah.
He is a walking encyclopedia.
Amen.
Okay.
Yeah.
Just hang out with the guy for 10 minutes and he remembers dates. He remembers names. He remembers exactly what happens. I mean, the
sharp.
guy is he's sharp. He is sharp.
Yeah, he's been talking. He's been speaking truth for the longest time.
No.
People weren't listening.
No.
Now they're listening because they
Conspiracy
realize
theories.
conspiracy was all true.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
You know?
And the left itself is dying. I mean, again, I want to point out to my friend Helene over here that can't spell worth of shit. But regardless of the fact, everybody knows that what happened in DC that day happened at the Capitol. And just a couple messages up there, she said, "Oh, the White House." Nobody stormed the White House. So like they're not even informed about like the issue. So like if you want to be against this, fine, there's no problem. But at least be informed about it.
Exactly.
And Helene is a perfect example of the Democratic Party today. They have no idea. You know what I find funny is there was a couple members of Congress that came to visit us in the DC Gulag. So applaud to them, Marjorie Taylor Greene, Matt Gaetz, and many others. But where were the other members of Congress and Senate? They didn't say a peep. Actually, they celebrated, including some members of the Republican Congress and Senate, celebrated our incarceration for decades. Okay. But let one terrorist gang member get deported home out of everywhere, deported home, and they hop on a plane in unison, in unity, as we're speaking right now. There's probably more congressmen that are dying to go over there right now. They will hop on a plane. They didn't give a shit when their own citizens were being tortured right across the street from the Capitol in the DC jail. They didn't care, but they'll hop on a plane on taxpayer dollars, by the way. And thank God for Comer that stopped that shit completely from happening. So they don't give a shit about Americans. You know who they give a shit about? MS-13. They give a shit about terrorists. They get a shit about woman beaters, right? Because the first thing they say, oh, well, Trump and this with women, right? Did you see that clip where the guy's wife gets asked by the reporter and is like, hey, how about this protective order you put over your own husband? You know what she did? You know the little loading screen? That's what was on her head. She took 10 seconds to answer. She goes, I just happy that my husband's alive.
Exactly.
Well, he was sipping margaritas a couple days ago with the senator, so I'm pretty sure he's doing real good.
Yeah, it's all part of the game. It's all part of what we're watching. We've been seeing this play out now for 5 years, back and forth with this crap. And so if people can't wake up to the fact that this is what they're doing and they're protecting people like that, I mean, MS-13, most likely one MS-13 guy probably killed Seth Rich. And so then you have to think about that and say, well, now what are they protecting? If Seth Rich was taken down on the streets, then who did it, and why didn't anybody find out about it? So that's what they're protecting.
How many children do you think they sold for sex slavery? These animals, how many children of their own country they snuck over the border? Come on, these guys are criminals, man. I don't care what anybody says. Look. What Trump is doing, he's doing the right thing. He's sending them back home and they belong in prison. It is what it is, You went to prison for something you didn't do, right? Come on, these guys belong in prison. Huh? It is. That's the law. They're saying that they broke law, whatever. They broke the law when they came through the border, number one, illegally. That's it. I don't believe in a lot of the stuff that's going on. I've spoken about it before. I think that there should be a process, but these guys, these are criminals. There shouldn't be a question.
Yeah.
Bye.
Done.
deport every
and why should
single
we
one
continue
of
to
them.
pay?
This
man.
is what we voted for.
Yeah.
And another thing to say that, look, obviously, my loyalty lies with the president a little bit more than your average American citizen, right?
Yeah.
He gave me my life back. He's in a different category. I don't expect people to think that I'm going to be objective about the president. I think he's done an amazing job, right? And I will never criticize the president because he gave me my life back. But a lot of people have it fucked up, and they think that that loyalty extends to some of his appointees. And I've been very critical because we're talking about deportations and we're talking about criminals, right? I've been very critical of Pam Bondi from day one.
Yeah, you have.
Okay.
Yep.
And I got a lot of shit for it because I came out very early against Pam Bondi. I knew she was a bad pick to begin with. We saw what she did in Florida. We saw what she did with the red flag laws here in Florida. So I already knew she was going to be a horrible AG. You know, where are the arrests? I think to date, she's gotten like 5 little Tesla terrorists. By this time, the Merrick Garland DOJ had already arrested 470, almost 470 Trump supporters.
Yeah.
So it's not about patience. People tell me, be patient. Well, how patient do you want me to be? Midterms are around the corner. If we lose the House, the president's going to be impeached again. I'm 100% sure of that. That's what they're going to do.
Yeah.
So, and there's less time to 120th Congress, which is January 4th of 2027. Okay. And there's less time to election day, and there's less time till the primaries. So how long do you want to fucking have me wait? Do you want me to wait 3 more months? I'll be patient for 3 more months. But we only have 9 months. We have less than 9 months, actually.
Right, absolutely right.
It's true. I mean,
we'll lose all power, and then we can't do shit.
The window is closing when it comes to that. You did hit it right on the head. And
executive orders are great, and the president's doing an amazing job for executive orders. But if we're not codifying his executive orders through legislation, then the next Democrat that decides to steal the election, because I know for a fact that it is impossible for the Democrats to win. They've actually leaned in more to their 2024 platform, which they lost, a bunch of losers. Okay. And they've leaned into it even more. So, but the next president, if the Democrats steal the election again, is just going to undo all his executive orders. So what the fuck do we have Congress for?
Nothing.
That's it.
You're right. Absolutely right. We need to start doing stuff now.
And that's why, like Eddie said, I want tribunals.
And I want them done.
I want them done because
you know what I mean? Trials and all that. What trials?
Yeah.
They don't deserve trials. They don't deserve anything. These people are criminals. I mean, like you spoke about the AOCs and Jeffries and the Waters and all these people that talk about violence and they want it. They want violence.
They want it. Yeah.
You know what I mean? And the BLMs and the Antifas and these stupid Tesla terrorists, or whatever you want to call them, they want that. They're promoting it. And patriots, and I say this to us patriots, we need to chill, but we also need to be vigilant as well. Always, because we need to stand up, because like Enrique just said, it's not only the vote. We have to push our own, in our counties, we have to push our own Congress people to do the right thing and push, because we could say whatever we want on a podcast, but unless we make a move, write letters, get petitions, and make things happen, shit don't move, bro.
I won't. Got to move the needle.
Yeah, we got to. I mean, that's what Sandra does. Sandra's out there all the time, fucking,
Go ahead.
Yeah, I'm sorry, Enrique.
No. And another thing is, we've talked about Article 1 and Article 2, but Article 3, the judicial coup that we're facing right now.
Yeah.
And I see a lot of people saying, "Oh, well, we got to impeach the judges." We don't have the votes to impeach the judges, because we need to get off our ass and put people that are going to be in there. We're not going to get to 60 votes. What are we right now? We're like, we need 9 Democrats to jump on our team on the Senate side to get an impeachment from a judge.
Yeah.
So you want impeachments on the judge? You want to stop this judicial coup? Make it happen in 2026. Make it happen in the midterms. Get off your ass. Get off social media. Start knocking on doors now. Get involved in your local REC. Okay. You know how easy it is to get elected to your local REC? You can literally probably knock on doors for 2 weekends and get the 50-something votes you need to beat the other guy.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, it wouldn't take much.
And they're the ones that make the decision on who's gonna run. I mean, it's another corrupt process, but you need to jump in the process and fix the process.
Yeah, right. You got to fix it. You got to be about it. You can't talk about it.
Yeah,
right?
you can't talk about it. You got to be about it. That's absolutely right.
Absolutely. Let's bring in. We got Joanne from Binford Chronicles. I'm sure she's got some questions for you, Enrique, and some of the comments as well. Let's bring Joanne there.
Hey, what's up, Joe?
What's up, Joanne? Yeah, you're muted.
Your mic's muted.
No, we lost it. No, can't hear her.
I think
Still muted, Joanne.
If you hit settings, she could test her microphone right there. There you go. Okay.
All right, we'll see. Bring her back on.
But yeah, I mean, it's crazy. It's crazy.
Yeah, it is. I mean, and like you said, you have to get involved locally. You have to just step it and speak about it and you know and get people involved. I mean, you know, because it's the only way is local. You know.
But let's speak about the few podcasts you have. You have Enigma Connection.
Oh yeah, we do. We kind of started a network here too. Enrique, we started Enigma Connections. It's a group of podcasts under that umbrella. We do a board report, so we report on the boards, the local school boards, the local, city councils, the local county commissioners, and so we report on it so that people don't have to watch the whole thing and see where the money's going. We have a couple other podcasts under that as well that are community podcasts. Might do a sports one like you said you guys are doing. So that's what we have to do in our area. And I know you're in Florida and you're in your area, so that it makes sense for you to do what you're doing in your area.
Yeah.
Of course. Yeah. And getting involved locally is how you make those changes. I've been doing this for a very long time. This isn't a 2016 activated me thing. I've been doing this. I hate to say it. I worked the second Bush campaign, which is the first time that I got involved in local politics. Then I worked for Ron Paul in the primaries until they stole the election from him. Okay. And I worked every general, midterm, and special election here in South Florida.
Wow. Damn. Yeah,
so we got Joanne from Binford Chronicles. So
can you guys hear me now?
Yeah.
You hear me now?
Yeah, we can hear you now. Is that the commercial? Can you hear me now?
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Can you hear me now? So, Enrique, that was a really good point you made. I've been saying that a lot about, the executive powers, the executive orders. We have to turn those into constitutional legislation, because if we don't, like you said, the next rotation around, who knows what's going to happen. And we also need to focus, like you were saying, through the REC, get out there and start vetting our candidates. We've got a lot of grassroots candidates coming up, and we got to fight hard for them because it's the machine that they're fighting against. But also we should use these next 3 years, these next few years, to also keep track of the rhinos that we do have in the Republican Party now that are representatives, and let them know that we're watching them. And it's like, look, guys, you're scoring at like 40% constitutionally. Either you start voting and adhering to your oath to the Constitution, or we're going to have to primary you out. And I think once they know people are watching, that's a game changer right there. What do you think about that?
Big time.
Yeah, I think totally that it makes sense, and that a lot of people want to start, and I get the enthusiasm now in the Trump era that you want to run for office and you want to be a congressman and you want to be, but start small. Start at your REC. I said this a million times. It's so easy to gain a seat there. If you put the effort in, it's so easy. We've done it down here. We've done it down here. The New York Times did an article that I'm so proud of, and they're like, the Proud Boys have taken over the Miami REC, and we didn't. I won't say that we took it over, but we had. I won't say how many seats we have now, but we did have a considerable amount of seats. But for the most part, if you get involved locally, even if it's just door knocking, even if it's working on the polls that day and passing out like little flyers and stuff like that, that helps. So I think that makes the difference. That's how you make America great again, is you start local. You need to make Miami great again. You need to make Indian River great again. And then you could focus internally first, and then you can worry about the country.
Yeah,
Amen.
we agree. That's what we always say. We, like John just mentioned, we try to keep things locally. Like Sandra's been involved in this, with this group now. How long you've had the group now, Sandra?
It's like 5
Did
years.
you hear me? I don't hear you now.
10 years.
10 years?
I've been involved in the REC, yes.
For 10
Well, what
years.
about Hispanics? That's been like 5 years,
three,
right?
3.5. I started after January 6th. Grassroots. We decided, hey, it's time to take our country back locally, and
Amen.
get the Hispanics together, because it's we need diversity. It's not all about it's bringing everybody together. So this is a great group. A lot of people have grown. A lot of people have. So I'm blessed to have these people. They support the Hispanic Club, and I'm grateful for that.
No. We were grateful for you for doing what you do, Sandra, as well.
Amen.
Thank you.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah. So Enrique, I know that now you're out and you got this podcast going. What other plans you got going for the future, bro?
Well, I got a big announcement tomorrow where our second project launches right on the live tomorrow at 7 p.m.
Oh, nice.
So we have
I know
really excited
what it
about
is.
it.
What's that what you-
Top secret. And, obviously Sandra has Q clearance.
I love
But
it.
we have a really good project that's coming out that also is community based. And I'm really excited for it. So that's another project. I'm also getting into a little bit more of the production side of things. So we have a lot of other projects that are in order. And then just like personally, there's a couple things that I'm doing more on a conventional basis. I come from a security background. I worked as a security contractor with the DoD for about 12 years. I probably won't tell you guys exactly what I'm going to do with that, but I will be taking a role back into the security industry here soon.
Wow.
Good. That's awesome.
Good.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
All right. That's pretty badass.
Without a doubt, man. Listen, you got knocked down, but you're standing back up, and that's what's important. You didn't stay down.
Yeah.
Because you did get knocked down hard, man.
Oh yeah. And to touch on that, like right before, like I knew that if the president won, I'd be released, right?
Yeah.
And going into coming as we get closer to January 20th inauguration day, I told myself, you know what, I'm just gonna chill the fuck out. I'm gonna be a little hermit. I'm a big Star Wars nerd, so I'm gonna use this term. I was gonna go to Dagobah. Right? I was gonna go to Dagobah and I was gonna be a hermit, and that was my plan.
Dagobah.
Right. And as soon as I touched the ground that I got off the plane in Miami, the moment that my foot hit the ground, I knew that was going to be impossible, because I knew what I loved doing. I knew what my passion was. So instead of, I'll use another Star Wars term here. Instead of Dagobah, I went Endor. I went full rebellion, I'm going in. I'm gonna go headfirst into this, and but there is a point where I do have to make a difference in how I was thinking before, because my priorities also changed. I spent a lot of time, dicking around, doing things, and I let my family, I was home almost like 5 days a month. So that to me is very important, and that was a thing that I missed out on for 3 years of my life, which helped me understand how important family is,
Yeah.
and how easy one can lose. I lost one of the people who raised me while I was in prison, and that's what brings part of that peaceful rage that I do have inside, because those people took that from me for political gain. So also that's another thing that like I don't forgive.
I get it, man. Hey, listen, that hurts.
I think that's going to be the name of your book, Peaceful Rage.
Yeah.
I don't forgive.
Yeah.
Forget that part.
Yeah. Seriously.
Peaceful, quiet rage.
Really, it really sums up what you've been through and how you're living your life right now. I mean, our podcast is called TGI Now. Thank God it's now. So it's we live in the present moment, and that's all you have is this moment in time that can make that change and make a better future for our country and for our children.
Amen to that.
That's right.
And I go back to go ahead. Sorry.
Can I say something? I just want to let the audience know that what's out of all this, you could have chosen a different path and said, you know what, I'm gonna, you're a young man. You could have said, hey, they're giving me 22 years. They want to give me 22 years in life, and you could have said, hey, I can go and give the DOJ, give them like ratted people out and lied and say, hey, Trump did it to have your freedom, but you chose, not knowing that Trump was going to be ever in office, not knowing you took the 22 years as a trooper, and a lot of people don't do that. A lot of people, oh my God, they want to sign a piece of paper and said, you know what, they'll rat anybody out, they'll rat their whole family just. So they don't have to do time, but you took it as a trooper, and that's why, we're so grateful. We admire you. I admire somebody like that because you didn't go out there and snitch on anybody. You took it and said, you know what, not knowing that outcome they could have stole the election again. I mean, in my mind, it was going to happen. In my mind, because of what happened in January 6th and how they stole the election once, they said they're going to do it again. These Democrats are not going to have Trump in the White House. Thank God that it was too big to rig. Thank God that all of us, the country had enough, and we were advocating because I was said, J6ers, and finally you got your justice. So, I'm grateful for that you took it, as a trooper, and you didn't care. You were going to do those 22 years without looking back.
And
thank you
to
for
touch
that.
on, thank you. And to touch on that, I was offered that deal that you're talking about. I was offered complete freedom, not a day in jail. And all I had to do was point a finger at the president of the United States.
Exactly.
That's all they wanted me to do. Because if you go ahead and you read the indictment, the DC indictment for January 6th of the president, they didn't accuse him of anything to do with what happened on the Capitol that day. A lot of people don't know that. They didn't accuse him with the riot that happened at the Capitol that day. What they accused him of doing was manipulation of the system to get the results he wanted, right? But they were dying to get him for the things that happened at the Capitol that day because they knew that would send the biggest message. So they had no way of doing it. So one of the ways that they wanted to do it is they wanted me to be that connection.
Mm-hmm.
They wanted me to say that the president called somebody that called me and said, you need to storm the Capitol and stop the election from happening. And that would be an outright lie. But they also said that if I were to do that, and if I were to sign off on their story, not the truth, I was going to sign off on their story, then I wouldn't serve another fucking day in prison. And I told them to kick rocks. And after I told them to kick rocks is when they gave me the 22 years.
And Enrique, I heard from the other J6ers too. They did that a lot to all of you guys, and then when you guys didn't want to give in, they started attacking your families and wanting to threaten you guys through your families and loved ones. It was just the most horrible act that our government could have ever done to its own citizens. And a lot of you guys have military backgrounds, law enforcement. I mean, you gave your lives to America.
Exactly.
No. Yeah, and a lot of people risked it because they could have charged. Listen, they could have charged everybody with sedition in the district that they charged it. The jury hated our guts. They would have. We could have been charged with everything from jaywalking to murder, and that jury would have signed off on every single one of those charges.
It was a rigged trial too, man. Everything was rigged. The whole thing was rigged.
It was.
I mean, all of us out here. I mean, you were in there, but all of us out here listening to the media and all the bullshit they were saying, we knew it was all rigged. You guys shouldn't have been there. It was trespassing, for God's sakes, at worst. You know what I mean? So, I mean, it was just ridiculous, the whole thing, and the country wasn't seeing it. They still say that they let the terrorists out, and how did Trump do that? Why did he let the terrorists out? Like, what the hell are you talking about? You're talking about our citizens. I mean, Rondell, I mean, how do you feel? I mean, shit.
I knew they were getting out. Remember, I said it before. I said if she gets in, they're getting out. They don't belong there.
Yeah,
we always said that.
Nobody always said that. No,
I was always confident.
We saw it even deeper to the point where we saw who set it up.
Yeah.
Well, we did.
Yeah.
We called it. We called it the
Who
whole
set
time.
it all up?
Yeah, we called it.
Yeah, we did. So grateful that you're out, absolutely, and hope that you move forward with what you're doing and that people get more involved. I have a question. So if somebody wants to donate, get more involved into what you're doing, how can they do that?
They want to help
Yeah,
financially.
they want to help out, like donate, like hit a website. Is there a page where they could buy any merchandise? Anything like that.
If anybody that's watching this wants to help financially, go to the website Give Send Go and type in January 6th and pick any of the January 6th defendants that are there.
Okay.
That's the best way that they can help. I don't other than that, how you help me is follow me on X and follow our podcast and just watch our show.
Okay, awesome.
And hold on, one more way that you could support me. You join us for some tacos and good conversations coming up, next week.
Yeah,
Cinco de Mayo.
Yeah.
Amen.
Yeah.
And I will say, Sandra knows how to throw a party. Mariachi, we will be dancing, we will be eating, we will be laughing. So anybody who doesn't go is a square.
That's what it's all about. That's what it's all about. You coming up the night before, or are you gonna
go ahead. I'm sorry.
He's gonna stay there. Yeah. He's gonna come that day, right? The Friday.
I'm gonna come that day. I have a couple of things to do in the morning, and then the very next day I have another cool thing I'm doing. But I got to be really careful with saying where I'm going on sometimes.
Exactly.
I'm used to just saying it. I'm like on a podcast.
No, you're right.
You have people
the trolls
on this chat that might not be very friendly.
There's a bunch of haters out there.
Yeah.
So a question. So you were pardoned, correct?
I have a total and complete unconditional pardon. Unfortunately, my 4 guys that were part of my case only have a commuted sentence. We believe the president will pardon him before his term is up. But there are also other January 6ers that have their sentences commuted. So we're pushing for their pardons. And there's a lot of other people that need to get pardoned also. Besides that we still we're pushing. One of them is Congressman, ex-Congressman George Santos, which has to report to prison.
I love him.
Love him. Yeah, he has to
From
report
New
to
York.
prison
Love him.
in 3 or 4
I
days.
didn't know that. Oh my gosh.
Yes.
Mhm.
Yes. He's
Uh,
amazing.
Another person is Lieutenant Shane Lamond, the head of intelligence for Metropolitan Police Department. And the only reason that he's arrested is because I put him on a witness list. And 2 days after I put him on a witness list, the FBI and the DOJ knocked on his door and intimidated my witness and told him that if I were, it wouldn't be a good idea to testify in my case because he might be testifying in his own case.
Wow.
The DOJ came and arrested him anyways after our convictions, and he needs a pardon also. If you guys take a look, his name is Lieutenant Shane Lamont, so you can research his story a little bit.
Okay.
But there are many people that need. There's still J6ers that are still in jail to this day.
I was going to ask.
Yeah, there's a couple of them that are still in jail because when they indicted them and they raided their house, they found look how scary this is. They found firearms and marijuana.
Wow.
Oh, jeez. Yeah.
Very scary.
Marijuana is such a bad thing, man. You
Oh
know,
my God.
and guns are so scary.
I would never do something like
This
that.
podcast would exist
This
without marijuana.
podcast wouldn't exist without the cannabis.
You know, and let me say something about that right now, and that shows you where the Republican Party, the conservative, I'm not going to say Republican Party, I'm going to say the conservative movement is, right?
Yeah.
Because again, I've been doing this for a very long time. Even in 2012, you know, you ask a Republican at that time, oh, marijuana, no, it's got to be illegal, no way, you know. People say that the conservatives have swung further right. It's a lie. If anything, conservatives have taken a common sense approach to many things, including marijuana legislation, which I believe that shouldn't be legislated at all.
Exactly.
But we're very open now. It's like the hippie movement from like the 70s came into our tent, and
Right.
and now we're this party where we believe in the liberty and we believe in the freedom that we've always preached, right? Where the progressives are the ones that have moved way further left and more authoritarian than ever.
Absolutely.
And then Helena just put their names up. Elias Costanzas, Dan Wilson, Edward Kelly are still incarcerated. These are the J6ers that are still, I mispronounced Elias's name right there, but for the most part, these are the gentlemen that are still in prison that still need pardons.
Wow.
It's a long time.
So my reason for asking you, so you got all your rights restored.
So the way that it works is in 2018, I actually knocked on doors with Democrats. Yes, I did. I got a lot of shit for it, but to push Amendment 4, which gave nonviolent felon offenders the right to vote again. So I don't know the logistics of it now, how that's working, but technically I still have my voting rights, but I did get my voting rights back. But, you know, listen, I was a little shit when I was a kid, and I did do a little bit of time before. So I'm still a felon. I still can't own firearms, but the Supreme Court is listening to a case on 922G for nonviolent felons coming up in this term. So I'm hoping that they overthrow that, where we could get our gun rights restored. And a funny story about that is in 2018, when I knocked on doors with Democrats for Amendment 4 at that time, because Amendment 4 was, just to be clear, not to be confused with other Amendment 4s, but it gave nonviolent felons the right to vote. The person that led the charge on that, after it passed, rightfully so, I text him the day after it passed and I said, hey, can we try to do this for gun rights? He never answered me again.
Figures.
They don't want gun rights. They don't want guns.
So in Florida, if you've been pardoned, you don't get your gun rights back?
No, you get. So even if you're not pardoned, you still could. If it's a nonviolent felony, you could get your gun rights back.
Yeah.
And I'm pretty much an anarchist when it comes to rights. I don't think that those two rights should ever be taken from you. I don't think the right to vote should ever be taken from you, and the right to bear firearms and protect yourself and your family.
To protect yourself.
Yeah, that's crazy. Wow.
Yeah.
The right to protect your life. That's crazy.
Yeah. You're not allowed
So,
to.
guys, my pizza just got here.
All right.
I need to eat.
Go eat, man. Listen, thank you for joining us, man. We appreciate you, Enrique. Enjoy your pizza.
I'll see you next week. We're gonna love on you.
I'll see you next week.
May 2nd,
right.
brother. Thank you so much.
May
Appreciate
2nd, everybody, get your tickets.
Make sure you get
That's
the-
right.
Have
Get
my
your
phone
dancing shoes on.
Yep. Yeah, I can't put my dancing shoes on because I have 2 left feet. I'm a horrible. One more thing I'm going to say. I'm the worst Cuban that there is. I don't dance salsa. I don't smoke cigars. What else, babe? What else?
Too Latino.
I don't eat pork. I mean, I do eat pork. It's not like a muzzy thing. I'll eat bacon. I'll eat sausage. But when I was a kid, my stepmom would give me chuletas for breakfast, lunch, and dinner, and I cannot eat.
He said, "I'm
pork.
tired."
Chuletas are pork
I'm
chop.
tired of it.
Chuleta. I love chuletas.
So thank you guys. You guys, whenever you want, you can have me on.
Welcome to the show.
Yep.
Yeah. So whenever you want, you can have me on. I'd love to have you guys on my show too. So Sandra, thank you so much.
You're
thank you
welcome,
guys
honey.
for hosting me, and another thank you to Helene over there for being such a horrible liberal.
He's still in the chat.
And people like that give us more votes on our side.
Yeah, Helene's living up to her name. Gross.
I can't
Helene, as gross as she can be.
All right, thank you guys.
All right, guys.
Enjoy
Bye.
your pizza, brother.
All right, guys.
bro.
Peace.
All right, Sandra. God bless, baby.
All right, honey. See you home.
All right,
Bye,
see you when
guys.
you get home. Bye. That was a good show.
Right? Jeez, that was
Confusing at first, but it was great.
A lot of traffic on the screen, but that's how we
it was good.
navigated.
It was
We
good.
navigated it. We appreciate all the new followers watching and tuning in.
absolutely.
We appreciate. Give us a like, give us a share, give us
Appreciate
a follow.
you.
Let us know what you thought of the show. Obviously, Helene's got a lot to say in the chat room. I can't read that fast, but
That's fine. Listen, all comments count. You know what I mean? Even her comments count. You know, I look at it like that because
I just can't. I couldn't keep up with them.
that's fine.
Yeah.
But she has her opinion,
Yeah.
and she has that right.
100%,
If we're talking about let's be free and let's have the right to be free, it's everybody.
Yeah, exactly.
Democrats, left, right, in the middle, whatever the fuck.
Yeah.
You know, freedom is for everybody. It's not limited to the conservative or to the liberal party. Like they want it.
Yeah.
They want it just for them.
Yeah.
Remember, they really want all of us to be in concentration camps.
Yeah.
I mean, I feel
We were supposed to be, but luckily we're not. We could have been. There's no doubt about that.
Yeah,
Some
man,
things
I
would have
tell you.
changed in 2016. We wouldn't be doing this
Let them would
podcast.
have won again.
We wouldn't be talking to Enrique.
What? We would have got roped up. Like,
Shit.
Enrique would be coming to Vero.
He wouldn't be on the show.
She wouldn't be. She wouldn't exist either.
No.
She'd be gone too. That's too funny.
Man.
Unbelievable. That was a good show, though. All right, guys. Well, we appreciate you tuning in. And again, go back and give us a follow on our channels. We'll have Enrique on again, I'm sure. And then we'll also don't forget to check out the event if you're local. Go check out Cinco de Mayo next. What's it? Not this Friday, but next Friday.
Maybe we could ask Enrique to switch to plug into our network, and you can plug in. And we could plug into his.
Yeah,
This
but
way
go
you
be
get
on
more.
his show. Yeah, they go on their
You
show
know,
instead of us.
and that network, and he gets an hour.
Exactly. Yeah, it'd be kind of cool.
Yeah.
So that'd be good.
But listen, guys, take care, man. God bless. And Caps, again, thank you so much. I'm enjoying the pizza. It's delicious.
Yeah.
Can't wait to eat my sausage and peppers with my wife when I get home.
Nice.
Sandra's personal. God bless, guys. Take care.
All right, guys, stay human.
Love, peace, chicken grease, baby. We out.
We out.